thanking all the residents that spoke tonight and shared their experiences and their stories. And as councillors, it's really important to hear what's happening on the ground and to understand the impacts. So thank you to those people for making the time. So councillors, the point of the rescission motion is to wait for the local government minister to provide legislation that she has advised will occur within the next 2 months. It will include an option to harmonise over several years.
Sorry, Councillor Curry, can you move closer to the microphone so the others could hear?
Certainly. It will include an option to harmonise over several years. This would remove the huge financial burden that the current Liberal and Independent councillors want to put on our residents in the former city of Botany Bay in one hit. So clearly, this would be the sensible decision to make. Avoid using council resources and hundreds of thousands of dollars of ratepayers' money to undertake a consultation which will become worthless in the near future. This really is a no-brainer, councillors. Regardless, tonight I want to discuss 3 points. For the benefit of Liberal and Independent councillors who at the September meeting criticised the former city of Botany Bay, of which I was on, and voted to increase the rates of property owners in the former city of Botany Bay by an unfair and unjust amount. The 3 points I'm going to speak to are Botany Bay residents paying our fair share? Yes, we are. Second, Botany Bay economy and rating structures. And third, the impact of a pandemic and recession on household income. Firstly, are Botany Bay residents paying their fair share? Yes, they are. Last month's council agenda confirmed something our community has long suspected. We are already paying more than our fair share in rates. Based on ABS ERP data, in 2019, Bayside Council had 178,396 residents. Of these, 54,931 lived in the former city of Botany Bay, and the rest were in the Rockdale area. But according to last month's council agenda, overall, the Botany Bay area pays 35% of the rates in Bayside. So right now, our community pays 35% of all the rates in Bayside, while we only comprise 30% of the population. On a per capita basis, councillors, we are already paying more than our fair share. The solution proposed by Bayside Liberal and Independent councillors is to make our residents pay more. I know this is a complicated issue, and individual households won't know how much they pay until they get a new rating notice, but councillors need to understand a minimum rate as outlined on page 127 of the September agenda is outrageous, and the modelling uses a land value of between $700,000 and $800,000. Yet, there are only 574 dwellings in the former city of Botany Bay that fit into that category, whereas in Rockdale, 5,009 properties fit into that category. So the majority of our residential land values in Botany Bay are significantly higher, well over $1 million. So not a true reflection of the financial impact. This is a real-life example of the impacts of putting forward a large rate increase from Barry Curtin of Hillsdale, with his permission. Quote, "Now after this amalgamation forced upon us, you expect to raise our council rates because they happen to be lower than the former Rockdale Council imposed on their residents? Importantly, I cannot afford any increases beyond the norm, and I would say the same goes for many, many others." For councillors that have taken the time to speak with Botany Bay residents, you will start to understand that many of our residents cannot afford this unjust increase. Secondly, the Botany Bay economy and rating structures. I think it is important to outline some facts. As for 3 years, I've listened to some Rockdale and Independent councillors rewrite history to suit a self-serving agenda which is tended to belittle and criticise the City of Botany Bay. You sit there and tell my community to pay higher rates, and I want to call you out on your hypocrisy. It is time for you to acknowledge that Botany Bay has a larger economy with a greater number of jobs and businesses. This is important because our higher business rates mean we were able to keep residential rates lower. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who is familiar with our community. As indicated by speakers, Botany is home to Qantas, the Botany Port, the airport, Orica, and multiple business and industrial parks. The economic data from 2015, which is the last year when it was available, confirms our community had a much larger regional economy than Rockdale. In 2015, Botany Bay had less than half as many people as Rockdale, but our economy was twice as large. Botany Bay had more jobs than people and twice as many jobs as Rockdale. I thought it was important to remind you of some of the facts that you have so conveniently forgotten. These are the facts that have never been acknowledged by Liberal councillors who act as though Botany Bay is the weaker half of the merger. As of July 2015, Rockdale had $7,284,000 in borrowings. This compares to the City of Botany Bay, which had been debt-free since 1995, thanks to the outstanding leadership of the former Mayor Ron Honig MP. At the time of amalgamation, the City of Botany Bay had $71,850,183 in investments and cash. At the time of amalgamation, the New South Wales Liberal government even conceded, and I quote, "The two councils have very different operating performance ratios. Botany Bay is collecting more in revenue than it is spending, while Rockdale is spending more than it earns," unquote. As a result of our strong regional economy and the fact that we had so many more businesses paid and continue to pay a larger share of rates, that's reflected in last month's council agenda, which revealed businesses in our area pay 52.2% of the share of rates, with residents paying 47.8%. This compared to Rockdale, where residents pay 88.9% of the share of rates. There's also been huge amounts of money coming from development contributions in Mascot and Pagewood area. We are a different community, one with a stronger economy. Yet you refuse to acknowledge this because it doesn't suit your political agenda. You also fail to understand the impacts of living in a huge industrial footprint. We live with the smell of Kellogg's. We hear the planes. We hear the humming of the ships at the port. We had to stop using our bore water due to contamination. This is what my community lives with every day. And now you want to accuse them of not paying their fair share? No wonder why they are angry and betrayed. Finally, the impact of a pandemic and recession on household income. Some councillors seem to have forgotten we are in a pandemic and recession, and many in our community have lost their jobs or had their hours cut. Where is your empathy, councillors? As John from Botany shared with me, I've lost my job at the airport, and my partner's had her casual hours within the hospitality industry cut. I had to borrow the money to pay the rates we just received, and that was without an unfair increase. This is the real world for our residents, councillors. To summarise, Botany Bay is paying its fair share, and you can sit in your ivory tower happy to take the extensive revenue that comes from the Botany Bay economy, yet have no consideration for the impacts that our community experience from it. Council should move to keep the current rating structures in place until legislation is presented to Parliament as per the mayoral minute, or let's provide Rockdale residents with a significant decrease to align with Botany Bay. Is this the community you want to create? A community that doesn't give all their residents a fair go?
Thank